Shalom, family. It's good to see everybody here. You know, the American taxpayer is really getting screwed over these days, and so much money is being poured into migrants, housing them, feeding them, and now medical expenses all coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. Now, it's amazing. The same people that complain about reparations never say one single word when it comes down to all of the millions that's being poured into these illegals. Ladies and gentlemen, before it's all said and done, they would have came out cheaper giving us reparations, and what they are spending on these illegals are going to far exceed that. You watch the way they're pouring in here day after day. They would have been better off just giving us the reparations. Seriously. Because these migrants, if they keep coming in 300,000 a month, even if it was 200,000 per month, that's eventually going to break the bank. It is. So what they're doing is they're treating these illegals, and they're pushing the veterans and their families on the back burner. They're on waiting lists, y'all. The veterans and their families are on waiting lists, and they are prioritizing the migrants. So let's get into this story. Let's get into it. Mm, mm, mm. This is something else. VA ripped for helping migrant treatment over 400K veterans and families. They wait. That doesn't make any sense. But, when Colin Kaepernick was taking that knee, wasn't this country making the accusation that the Black community did not like veterans and we didn't like police and we didn't like this and we didn't like remember they were making those accusations not only online but even in mainstream news they were making these accusations that we did not like the veterans and we did not like police, right? And look at what this country that claims they love the veterans, look at what they're doing to the veterans. They're prioritizing people that are not even citizens of this country and seem to be more willing to pour their money into these folks over the veterans. But they made the accusation that we, who have veterans in our own families, might I add, don't like veterans. When actually, America has that history. We all know about our vets being hung in their uniforms, being beaten and killed after fighting in wars, Revolutionary War. Our men came off the plantation to help them fight for their freedom, and they threw them back on the plantation. And actually, history shows they don't like veterans. Okay. That's what the history shows, but they make the accusation on us. Go figure, y'all. No, go figure. So let's get into it. The Department of Veterans Affairs is facing blowback for helping pay out millions of dollars to medical providers to treat illegal migrants while they are in federal custody. And they are also spending a fortune hospitalizing these folks as well. Them enduring injuries on their journeys here. So if they can make it across the border, they can be hospitalized in America. And guess who's footing that bill? They're not paying the bill. We are. So the VA Austin, Texas based Financial Services Center has been contracted by ICE since 2002 to process reimbursement claims to providers who offer services to detained migrants. In fiscal year 2022, which ended September 30th of that year, FSC processed 161,538 such claims, with the ICE Health Services Corp paying out an average, this is per person, this is per illegal immigrant, $584 per immigrant to give them medical treatment. They spent a total, this is how much taxpayer money they spent, $94.3 million in taxpayer money, according to a July 2023 Department of Homeland Security report on healthcare costs for non citizens in detention. That's how much they spent of taxpayer money. In the previous fiscal year, 2021, ICE healthcare arm budget, they had spent $74 million on treatment for non-citizens in detention in 2021. That's how much they spent, taxpayer money. Meanwhile, the pile of benefit claims by veterans and their families await. And guess what? It has grown. Guess how many people are waiting to be treated that are veterans and their families? 417,855, according to the VA's own website, up from 150,000 as of late 2022. They got our veterans and their families waiting for medical care. That's a lot of people. 417,855 people that are citizens that fought in wars, that served in the military, and their families are made to wait. This is unbelievable. So the VA was adamant that the veteran claim backlog and the millions of dollars doled out to migrant health care providers were not related. This is what they're trying to say. The VA does not provide or fund any health care to ICE detainees. This involves no more than, 10 employees and fully funded by ICE. This has no impact on veteran care services or VA healthcare professionals or VA funds used for this purpose. Well, the lawmakers differ. So the VA is saying, well, this is unrelated. Well, the lawmakers are saying, no, yes, it is. So a handful of Republican lawmakers ripped the VA for working with ICE to pay for medical treatment of people who say they are not even US citizens at all. And then another veteran, I am a disabled veteran and I get 100% of my health care through the VA system. This is Rep. Derek Van Orden, a retired Navy SEALs who sits on the House Committee on Veteran Affairs. Mm, mm, mm. He said it is incredibly insulting to our veterans who risked their lives defending this nation. And it should shock the American taxpayer that the Biden administration is using VA resources to provide health care to illegal aliens. Van Orden added that the VA's work with ICE is despicable and needs to be stopped immediately, while noting that many veterans have to travel hours and wait weeks to even be seen at a VA facility. Mm, mm, mm. Wow. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. So, by definition, that means worse options for our veterans, referring to non VA practitioners who offer services to veterans, such as urgent care, surgeries, and dialysis. The program thrived under President Trump, but under President Biden is now actively pulling back community care options for our heroes. This giveaway to illegals is a slap in our faces and to our veterans, and it's a slap in the faces to the taxpayers. Biden bureaucratic backlog at veterans built up as they took bubble baths on the taxpayer dime. Not another second or a dollar meant for veterans should be wasted to a band aid Biden border crisis. And I agree with that. These folks came at their own free will. Okay. And many of our veterans, many have fought in wars, many have served in other capacities, and they got to wait. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so no calls, let me go back up. No calls from anyone who has served our country should go unanswered. But the Biden administration has made its priorities clear by wasting valuable VA resources to process illegal immigrants. Our veterans deserve better. Yeah, this is a disgrace. To find out that the Biden administration is reallocating funds from the VA and giving them to illegal immigrants who did not serve this country is not just a disappointment, it is an outright disgrace. As a Marine, so this is Mark Geis, a former Marine. I'm frustrated. It is a blatant betrayal to those who sacrifice for this country. Mm-mm-mm. To see millions of taxpayer dollars taken from our veterans to instead incentivize and care for an invasion of illegal aliens is a giant slap in the face to America and to the military community. Every time we think this administration has reached a grotesque low, they dig deeper. Not only are veterans pushed down the chain behind migrants at the VA, they are also being made homeless because the VA HUD program was allocated to migrants as well. Wow. That is absolutely disgusting. Never should a veteran be deprioritized for anyone, let alone a non citizen who entered our country illegally. It is disheartening to witness VA resources stretched to assist non Americans when those who risk their lives for this nation are already suffering. Last month, the advocacy group Concerned Veterans for America, they said the VA policy and implore Congress to enact legislation barring the department from its contract with ICE. The VA was created to serve the veteran, the brave men and women who served and sacrificed for freedoms. Right now, under the Biden administration, the VA is failing our nation's heroes. Not one more veteran should lose their life waiting for care while the VA focuses and prioritizes outside of its core mission. During the fiscal year of 2023, the VA claims it provided more than 116 million appointments to veterans, shattering its previous record. In response to the outcry, the department claimed its goal remains to deliver the best health outcomes to veterans, whether that's at a VA or in a community through one of our partners. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a veteran, and even I'm offended. I'm offended by this. Yes, the VA have a contract with ICE to provide medical care to illegals that are detained. And that is taking priority over veterans and their families. They're on a waiting list to get medical care. So it appears to me that the Biden administration has already decided the illegals crossing the border apparently carry more weight than American citizens and getting more perks and benefits and free medical care through their contract with ICE from the VA. So isn't that amazing? They get immediate medical care. And if you're a veteran or a family member of a veteran, you got to wait. Like I said, I'm not a veteran, and even I'm offended hearing this big time. And those of you that are veterans, I'm really sorry this is happening to you. Because I know I've heard the stories over the years of how our veterans got to wait, or if they got to get certain tests done or treatment, they have to wait. And sometimes they got to wait long periods of time between appointments. I've heard all the stories. I've heard all of the stories. And in fact, when I used to teach, I had a Vietnam veteran. He was one of my students, and he got a letter in the mail saying that he was no longer going to get VA care because the Vietnam War was a long time ago and they didn't have to treat him anymore. He got a letter in the mail. They cut him loose. Wow. Yeah, this is what our text would look. Like I said to y'all, before this is all said and done, they're going to spend more on these illegals than they would have spent if they would have just given us the reparations. Seriously, they would have came off better because any monies that you give these illegals, that's not going to be spent in your economy. That's going to be sent back home to their countries, to whatever family members have in their countries. That money ain't going to get spent in the US economy. A big chunk of it is going to be sent right back home. But with us, you would have had a great chance of that money going back in your economy. But hey, if this is the way y'all wanted America, but I am offended that you're using our taxpayer money from the Black community on something that we don't even agree with. So it's okay. And again, where are all you people that got a problem with reparations? You're awfully silent when all of the same taxpayer money is going towards people that aren't citizens here. Y'all are awfully quiet. You don't have nothing to say all of a sudden. Can't find you. But if we say reparations and America needs to pay reparations, y'all sure know how to come from the dark shadows then. So, y'all, thank you for being here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If you're a veteran, man, I pray for you. I pray if you need medical care that you will get it real soon. I can't believe the nerve and audacity of the Biden administration on this one. This is sickening. Thank you, CK Mystic, for the super chat. America rather self-destruct than do the right thing for black folk. You got that right. You ain't never lie. And Ocean Soul, thank you so much for becoming a new channel member. And on that, y'all, please enjoy your day and be on the lookout for my videos. And I did my first podcast on James Clyburn trying to make the claim that Biden did so much for the black community, the black voters. He did say, Biden did so much. And then he named a bunch of things that the average person within our community wouldn't even give a crap about. For real. Shalom, family.